All right, guys. All right, we are live. We're good to go here. Tuesday, 7 o'clock. First things first, Tyson. How you doing, man? I mean, draft is what less or no? I think it's actually like pretty much just about a month away. Lots of rumors, right? Pro Day week. Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn, they're flying all over the place. But how you doing, man?
I'm doing great because the Jets were with Notre Dame. So once the Jets go to Notre Dame, all my dreams and hopes come right back alive where maybe Jeremiah Love becomes the guy they've always wanted and will blow everybody out of the water and we'll forget about Reese and Bailey and let a man dream for a couple of days. I'll enjoy it. But we have a new intro here. Like we're getting professional now. What's going on here?
Well, I always found it a little weird how, we're doing the stream on your end and then it's like or the show's over on your channel. It's like this 45-second thing. You got the music, you got the clips, and then I might have just clicked go live and then we just start talking. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try to class it up at least a little bit, throw in the intro. Hopefully it didn't look too disorganized here. But no, in this one, mock draft, right?
Yes,
Picks 1 through 16, collaborative, right? So I thought it would be pretty cool to kind of go down, right? Each individual pick. Of course, this is not going to be like Jets tailored, right? Where we're going to be making picks to try to like sweeten the Jets pick at spot number 16. We're at least try to be objective here, go through each individual selection, talk about team needs, system fits, all that good stuff, as well as if you guys want to, get active in the comments, give your thoughts, because, we got 16. Well, I guess not technically 16 teams to talk about, but 16 picks to go through here. But before we dive into it, let's quickly talk about the backup quarterback situation. It's March 24th. We still don't have a backup quarterback. Dalton is off the board. Joe Flacco is now off the board. These guys are slowly but surely, getting plucked up by these teams. Where do you stand with backup quarterback?
I'm kind of surprised Andy Dalton wasn't the guy. When you look at the trade, the value there, like according to all the rumors, like Dalton was a right guy. Wentz was a right guy. All these guys that we heard about, and none of them came to fruition. And now you're down to like Tyrod, Cooper Rush, maybe a Will Levis if you want to go that route. There's not really a lot of guys out there, man, which is, I'm not going to say concerning because it's friggin' March 24th. I'll panic if this is training camp because you want two veterans ahead of your rookie quarterback, whoever that person is. But I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you. I didn't think they'd get to this point. Josh Dobbs is out there, true. But
yeah.
You kind of
just got released.
You kind of feel like, I know people don't like this guy because he's always hurt. He's kind of like Tyrod's the guy, right? Like he's respected by everybody in the locker room. He's already been there, done that. He's friends with Geno. It's like, I don't know. I get the feeling that he's probably come at the right price as well. You kind of feel like Tyrod may be the guy.
Yeah. I mean, with Tyrod, like you just kind of know what you're going to get. I think if we ask Tyrod basically to start more than like 4 games per season, it's a big ask just because of the durability and whatnot. I mean, he really battled injuries all last season. But he's cheap, he's bought in with Aaron Glenn, he can pick up a system. And also too, for what it's worth, all of the reporters that covered the team love it. They basically say that within the locker room, players look up to Tyrod. They really, really respect him. And he basically just holds himself and the rest of the team to a pretty high standard. He's like the ultimate teammate and professional. So, at the end of the day, could the Jets theoretically upgrade from Tyrod? Yes, I do think so. But if it is Taylor, I'm not going to sit here and freak out and say, oh, the season's ruined or anything. He, at the end of the day, I think he's still a solid backup in, in today's market.
The thing too about Tyrod, he was never really healthy last year. He got hurt in training camp. He missed all the preseason. So he's kind of like chasing his tail, trying to get healthy. Like he never was really like, if he's fully healthy now and he goes into the preseason like that, it's a little bit better. But the question I have for you is, do you take a chance? Kirk Cousins is definitely not coming here. Would you take a chance on a guy like Levis where it's kind of like maybe you catch lightning in a bottle where he was a turnover machine? We know all about that, but he also has ability. He's 26 years old. You have him behind Geno. Maybe it's a kind of guy, like a little developmental guy that you try to maybe get something out of him. Would you rather that route? Or do you say, you know what, go with a known commodity of a Tyrod or a Cooper Rush or somebody like that?
Well, Levis kind of gives you a glimmer of hope.
Right.
That he could be the next Malik Willis. Nothing, of course, is guaranteed, but he has likable traits. He has an upside. He's kind of like in that Tanner McKee boat, that, Mac Jones boat, if you will, where if you bring him in, like there's a chance that he could turn into something. Whereas Tyrod Taylor, we all know who he is. Joe Flacco, we all know who he is. Jimmy G, we all know who he is. So he does give you that glimmer of hope, but of course, we do have to trade something for him. It's not like a foregone conclusion that Tennessee's just going to dump him for nothing. So I would explore it. I definitely would explore it, but the Jets have been linked to a couple quarterbacks in this year's class. I don't know, man. Like if the quarterback room for this upcoming season is Geno Smith, Will Levis, and a day 3 rookie, I would sign up for that realistically.
100%. And you kind of want a guy to push Geno Smith as well. Like you don't want to have Geno Smith to have no competition behind him. Like have a guy kind of like giving him a sense of urgency, making sure he pushes himself, and you get the best version out of him too. So I'm not saying like there's gonna be a quarterback controversy, but have competition in the quarterback room. There's nothing wrong with that. And like you said, maybe Levis turns into something. Who knows? You kind of know, like you said, Tyrod Taylor, what he is. A lot of these guys, what they are. Maybe Frank Reich has some magic. Who knows? So it's nothing to panic about now. It's way early. I saw what Armin said too. Is the Jets could go through the draft, and once if a team drafts a quarterback, they may release their veteran. So you never know. You can wait till after the draft to find your quarterback as well. So it's not like a situation where you could panic. You never know. You could play it out and find somebody else. It's just interesting. It's this point. Like I'm kind of surprised.
Totally, man. Totally. Troy, yeah, of course we're always taking questions. No pressure to, send in super chats or anything. We're all just hanging out. But this mock chat that we're just about to do, picks 1 through 16, it's going to be collaborative, right? So we're going to try to
look at this.
Oh, look at you, man. Prepared. For once, prepared.
You always call me unprepared. You say I don't know what I'm talking about. And now I'm proving it. I can at least type.
It's going to be fun, man. This is going to be the first time we're doing it, and I can't wait to really see where you guys stand on it as well, because I think this draft class is pretty unique, because once you start getting to like a certain area of the draft, which is pretty much within the top 10, you could start making legitimate arguments for like five players for one team. Like this draft can go off the rails quickly. It's going to be a lot of fun. Dom, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And then I saw the question in here before with Kirk Cousins. No, he hasn't signed yet. I think he's probably going to end up in Indianapolis. That's just my guess. I mean, maybe the Raiders, but I don't know. We'll see. But are you ready to hop into it, man?
I am. Dude, I've been waiting all day for this.
Sweet, man. Sweet. So yeah, like we said, man, if you guys have thoughts, we're gonna spend some time on each team. Not a tremendous amount of time, not like 10, 15 minutes here or anything like that, but go through again, objectively try to make the case, putting our hat on for each individual team here. But with that said, man, I think to kind of kick this thing off, Fernando Mendoza feels like pretty much a lock at spot number 1. Yeah. Any sort of pushback there?
The thing is now it's like, when the draft cycles come full circle, when you start now doubting Fernando Mendoza and discounting him, say he's not the best quarterback in the draft. Meanwhile, after the championship game, everybody anointed him the next guy. So it's like, this is that weird part of like the draft season where everybody starts just throwing things out there, trying to get clicks and try to get attention. But Mendoza's the guy, dude. There's no way they're not taking him.
Yeah, I agree. Troy, believe we're going to be taking Arvell at 2, but after that, do you think there's a chance that they get back into the top 10? I mean, they definitely have the ammo to do it. You can definitely argue, hey, why take a chance on at pick 44 and 16 when you can shoot back up into the top 10 and go grab someone that you love? You can definitely make that argument for sure, man.
And the thing is too, is as we do this mock draft, I kind of want to discuss that too. Like, all right, this player is still available at 8. You're the Jets at 16. Do you consider making a move here? Like as it plays out, you can say, where the Jets at? If somebody's falling based on how we're picking them, do they pivot and make a change? So that's where it gets interesting, man.
Yep. And then IH, bro, I appreciate you, man. Seriously, with Reese, we'll be top 10 versus the run. Dude, that's one thing that the Jets have done a ton of is add some good run defenders, man. Whether it's Fitzpatrick at safety, Demario Davis at linebacker, Enigbare at defensive end. I think Osai is going to be an upgrade as a rotational edge rusher. Reese definitely provides some run defense as well. But Mendoza, spot number 1, Las Vegas Raiders, not really too much to dive into here.
Nope.
So pick number 2, right? The Jets we're here. We're already on the clock. And it really feels like right now it's a debate between Arvell Reese and David Bailey.
Yep.
With some small mentions of Ruben Bain, Sonny Styles, and Caleb Downs. I think with the addition of Minkah Fitzpatrick, we can cross Caleb Downs out. I think realistically speaking, Arvell and David Bailey is probably going to be what it comes down to.
The question I have here, and I think the answer is kind of obvious though, is there anybody that's willing to trade up to 2 to maybe take Jeremiah Love from the Titans? Is there a player on the board right now that everybody's like, you know what, I want to get ahead of Tennessee to get this guy, or I want to get like, ideally they can go to Cardinals, but do you see any situation where the Jets can actually trade back from 2?
Man, it's so tough. The only two, I guess there's maybe 3 scenarios. I feel like they're all unlikely. The first is that if you're 100% sold that the Titans are going to be taking Jeremiah Love, because there's a lot of smoke there, a lot of smoke with Tennessee and Jeremiah Love. If you're the Giants, do you leapfrog Tennessee and get to 2? But the problem is with that, like the big argument, you're trading up for a running back to spot number 2, which is super high. I mean, taking Love at 5 would be considered extremely high. To trade assets to go to 2 to select a running back when they already have Scatterboo, I don't really know if that makes the most sense. And then, of course, why trade at 2 when you could just try to move to 3? Arizona has a lot of holes. They would be down to move back. So if you could probably get to 3, just trade to 3, not 2. The second possible scenario is the Ty Simpson stock continues to just shoot up like crazy. And, he dominates the pro day and everything is great. Orlovsky, everybody's, hyping him up. And he becomes all of a sudden, in play for the Cardinals at 3. If you want him, you got to jump Arizona. Again, it feels unlikely at this point, but we still have a month left. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have all the answers. We have all the answers. The draft's a weird thing, right? We see weird stuff with the draft all the time. And then I guess maybe the third scenario is if maybe Tennessee is in love with, say, David Bailey, and you get the vibe that Arizona is going to take him at 3. And so you're like, we got to offer the Jets a ton to move up to 2 to go land our guy in Bailey. Arizona at that point would make their selection. So the Jets would have to be okay, or they'd have to be comfortable with a couple guys not named Reese or Bailey here. So
I'd be fine with that. I mean, I'm just like trying to play out every scenario. I would love to trade back if possible. I just don't think there's that highly coveted name. Like usually you have like a quarterback heavy class where everybody wants a quarterback, everybody wants a player. This one seems like it's Jeremiah Love. I don't think, as of today, Jeremiah has got a lot of hype around Jeremiah Love. I just don't think anybody's gonna move up for him though.
Okay, so if we just go by Vegas odds and kind of how things are playing out right now between David Bailey and Arvell Reese, which way are you kind of leaning?
I'm leaning Reese.
Reese?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. You can definitely make a solid argument for David Bailey, right? If you want instant pass rush right now, instant juice, instant electricity off the edge, you can definitely do that. You can easily add David Bailey into this mix, and he's going to crank up the sacks, crank up the pressure, just crank up the heat on the quarterback, right? I don't think he's a perfect prospect, but I do feel like in the event that the Jets do walk away with him at spot number 2, we would be in a much, much, much better situation than we are currently today when it comes to the defensive end position. I just feel like Reese is the more complete prospect and at the same time has the higher ceiling.
Yeah, a lot more versatile too. It brings. Yeah, I think to me it's like it just screams Reese at this point. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he's. I'm not really one for like the Vegas odds and stuff like that, but I think he's like minus 200 last time I checked. And like the next closest player is Bailey at like plus 220 or something. But Reese, he does make a lot of sense. You cool going Reese here?
100%.
Cool. So Arizona Cardinals pick number 3. This could go in a couple different directions. So, Mike LaFleur, new head coach. The defense last season was absolutely atrocious. They had a ton of injuries. Their offensive line, they have a big hole at right tackle. They did bring in guard Ciamalo from Pittsburgh, which I felt like was actually one of the best free agent pickups. They obviously have Paris Johnson locking down the left tackle position. So you can easily argue Francis Mauigoa here for Arizona to just plug right in at right tackle. Mike LaFleur, offensive-minded guy. His offense is they do require the offensive linemen to be fluid and, good movers in space. I think he does feel like a pretty seamless fit. But if you're looking at David Bailey and you love him, off the edge, they're keeping defensive coordinator Rallis. So I do feel like Bailey would fit this defense. And again, the Arizona Cardinals defense last season, and granted, they were hurt. They do have a lot of guys coming back from injury. They had so many players on IR, but still, it's like if you can just go plug I mean, I know they have Josh Sweat, but I would argue David Bailey would be the best pass rusher on the team. If they go with him at spot number 3. Now the class is deep at edge. It's not so deep at tackle. I mean, where do you kind of stand with it? Bain, maybe?
I mean, it's a rebuild, dude. You want to restock your offensive line because you want to bring in a young quarterback in there. So I'm going offensive lineman. That to me, it's like they have so many holes at this point. It's like solidify your trenches. Most important, get your offense in track. You have your quarterback position going to be in flux. You got Minshew. I think it's Minshew and Brissett at this point, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, to me, it's like offensive tackle. You have to, dude. And then you start your running game behind that. You develop it. You get young, and then you can go worry about your defensive needs later on.
So, MK, dude, that's crazy. You want Sonny Styles? Yeah, the combine numbers were absolutely fantastic, man. They were they blew me away. I figured Sonny Styles was going to have a great combine and figured he was going to lock himself into the top 10, but I was not expecting like literally one of the best combine performances of all time. Just absolutely insane. But no, you make a good point, right? Because if you're Mike LaFleur and you're gunning for 2027, right, you can maybe take a swing on like one of these younger guys, like a Garrett Nussmeier, maybe even a Ty Simpson, right? Potential trade up later on in the draft. But again, if you're an offensive-minded coach in Mike LaFleur, if you are shooting for, say, a Dante Moore, a Lenore Sellers, take your pick, CJ Carr, Arch Manning, whoever, in 2020, Sam Levitt, in 2027, it would be really, really nice for that quarterback to step in and say, hey, I have an offensive-minded head coach with a ton of play calling expectation is that Mike LaFleur is going to be a good play caller. And we already have 2 bookend tackles with Ciamalo at guard, who is awesome. One of the best guards in football, in my personal opinion. That does make a lot of sense.
Yep. It's start with the line, man. That's the anchor of your offense, the offensive line. Solidify that. So your young quarterback, when you put him in there, he's not running for his life. He has some time. You can run the ball. So to me, it's like, it's a safe pick, but that's what you kind of need. And this is a true rebuild, dude. There's no expectations for them this year. They have so many holes. I'm like, all right, we have to have like 3 home runs to be competent. No, you're probably going to be a bad team this year as well. Solidify the offensive line.
Yeah, you can never, in my opinion, if you have holes in the offensive line, you can never go wrong addressing the offensive line. It's not the sexy pick. It's not the pick that people are going to be, drafting to their fantasy team and stuff like that. But it's just kind of one of the, it's similar to Membu last season, right? You're in the top 10. You want like this crazy, flashy wide receiver or, some Bowers, Warren, right? In last year's case. But sometimes you just got to go make the boring pick, and that's offensive line and shore up the trenches, right? Smart teams address trenches.
Completely agree.
So pick number 4, Tennessee Titans here. Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll. I think there's been a clear emphasis on giving Cam Ward help. And they've been linked heavily to Jeremiah Love throughout the process. I know he was just in Tennessee for a private visit. However, we know, everyone here knows from watching the Robert Saleh-led Jets, that the defense doesn't work unless they get after the passer with their front 4. And right now, their edge rushers aren't David Bailey, in my opinion, would be the best edge rusher on the Titans. Ruben Bain would, my personal, idea is that Bain would probably be the number 1 pass rusher on the Tennessee Titans. Oladejo, young player, high upside out of UCLA. I don't know how he fits in the Robert Saleh defense. Of course, they traded for Jermaine Johnson. He should help the room.
Right.
I'm expecting him to bounce back, but he is coming off a disappointing season. He had the Achilles injury. We literally just witnessed this last season. Just having Jermaine Johnson doesn't just solve all your pass rush, pass rush issues. So if you're Tennessee, do you give Cam Ward another weapon at running back or maybe wide receiver with Carnell Tate? Or do you say Robert Saleh, the defensive-minded head coach, he has an opportunity to go out and get an instant impact pass rusher here in David Bailey or Ruben Bain? Which way are you kind of leaning?
I'm a little bit biased with this, but I think it's Love, dude. I think you want to give Cam Ward help. To me, he's arguably the best player in the draft, Jeremiah Love. Now, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I wish the Jets would get him, but he is dynamic, explosive, and the best way to take pressure off your quarterback, run the ball. He can catch the ball at a backfield. He brings so much to the table here. And keep in mind, Saleh like running the ball, dude. There's a time they wanted Jahmyr Gibbs, dude. They wanted Breece Hall and Jahmyr Gibbs. They
That's a
wanted
good
to
point. That's a good point.
They wanted a lot of guys here. So it's like, listen, it's I understand it's kind of high for a running back, but also Brian Dable loved having Saquon Barkley. I'm not saying they're the same player, but dude, I just think Love is that good, man. I really do. Like, I understand the whole defense, but Saleh could also be like, you know what? I'm not a defensive-minded coach, man. I like offense too. I'm taking this guy. So he can kind of spin like the whole narrative around him too. Like, well, I want offense here. But I think he's that good, dude. It would be such an asset to Cam Ward. I really do.
Yeah, and even with that, that's a really good point with the Jets trying to draft Jahmyr Gibbs that season. That completely slipped my mind. It's a really, really good point. Man, so and to the point that we made before with Arizona, this class is pretty damn deep at edge rusher. If we just want to quickly pull up the edge rusher group here, I mean, because look, Tennessee has what, pick 34?
Yeah.
Well, I only clicked one, just one, one round for this mock, so we can't really see it, but I believe it's pick 34. Pick 30. Yeah, because it's Jets at 30. No, Jets at 33, Cardinals at 34, Titans at 35, I believe is the actual layout. But just as far as the edge rushers are concerned, Ruben Bain, David Bailey, Mesidor, Falk, Howell, I don't really like that fit. TJ Parker would fit. Zion Young would be, he would be an awesome fit for Tennessee, top of round 2. R. Mason Thomas, interesting. I think Akis would make a lot of sense. Malachi Lawrence is definitely rising. And then the rest of the guys are probably, not really considered for like top, early round 2, like top 40 pick.
You could also go to Salah's mindset too, where like his schemes, his mindset, he could have confidence in the players he has now. So listen, I don't need to have that elite rusher this year. Maybe he has faith in Jermaine Johnson, whatever else. Say, listen, let's get that game-breaking talent on offense. Let's truly help this young quarterback out who's had some highs and lows and move forward that way. I saw in the chat too. It's like the best friend of a good defense is a great running game. Keep your defense off the field as you run the ball. And again, I know I'm coming off completely biased because I'm a Notre Dame fan. I'm an enormous Jeremiah Love fan, but I think he's the best player in the class, dude. I do. He's just that good.
Okay, you want to go Jeremiah Love?
Yeah, I mean, what does the chat think? Do they all agree? I mean, I get the whole David Bailey thing, but I just think it's the instant impact is the running back for this team, man. It is.
You know what's interesting too about this whole Jeremiah Love thing is, I want to say 3 weeks ago, every mock draft had Jeremiah Love going 7 to Washington, 8 to New Orleans, or 9 to Kansas City. Some had him, falling to 12 to Dallas, but this was kind of the sweet spot right here.
Yeah.
Right, 7 to 9. What happens in free agency? Kansas City goes out and drops $45 million on Walker. Right. New Orleans drops $50 million on ETN.
Yep.
So right off the bat, they're not going to be taking Jeremiah Love. Do they maybe know something? Do they why pay Travis Etienne $50 million if you were actually in play to draft Jeremiah Love? Love is, I would take Love easily over both of those running backs.
100%.
So
maybe they had a hint, like you said. They did. When the Senior Bowl happens and the Combine happens, all these teams are talking. There's all kinds of stuff. Maybe they had to feel like, you know what, we're not getting Love at 8, and if we sit here and we're sitting here in the draft and we didn't get anybody in free agency. Now he's not there in the draft, and now we're completely stuck. So maybe that could be the case too, dude. Again, I know I'm biased, man. I see it in the chat, but I think Love's just that good. I like Price too behind it, but Love is just.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to go Jeremiah Love here?
Yes, sir.
Make it happen. Okay. So Giants, man, this all of a sudden went from, before free agency, the Giants were like one of the easiest teams to mock for. But now with their moves, this is a team that went out and signed Tremaine Edmonds to a multi-year deal. What was that, a 2 or 3 year contract? Very similar body type to Sonny Styles. I think, if you were to ask a Giant fan, they would probably say Sonny Styles would feel a little redundant to be drafted onto the New York
Yeah.
Giants now, to plug him with Edmonds. Um, you know, right tackle you kind of were looking at, right? But they brought back Illuminor. So that's kind of not really the biggest need at this point. Wide receivers interesting because they did lose Wandale Robinson. Could they
Yep.
maybe go with a Carnell Tate, give Jackson Dart another weapon? But does that really feel like a John Harbaugh selection?
See, to me, this is where Caleb Downs gets interesting. That's where I have like what you know what I mean. It's kind of like that's the history of Harbaugh. They had Kyle Hamilton, which I know you think is a better player, but it's like that leader in secondary, another culture guy, impact player. And I know all the injury stuff that came out over the last month and a half. Where he's going to drop so far in the draft. I'm not buying any of that. And I agree with you. Initially, I was all about Styles to the Giants, but I think it's Downs or Tate at this point. And that's kind of matter what your preference is. If you go Tate, that's you're talking about a big play offense for Jackson Dart, which is good. That never hurts to have that. It just matter what do you think is a better impact for your team.
Yeah, I was recently listening to a little interview with John Harbaugh. And he was talking just so much about the safety position, and he's always had great safety play.
Yep,
and also too, one of the biggest trends that we've seen on or with defensive football is like the big nickel at the NFL level, right? Teams running 3 safeties. I mean, think about the Seattle Seahawks, all these safeties that they had. Devin Witherspoon is one of the best slot corners in football, and they still went out and drafted Nick Eamon-Wari at safety and said, you're going to be playing in the slot a ton, right? Kobe Bryant at free safety. Yeah, they do still have Holland. I know Tyler Nubin was like a second-round pick a couple years ago. I was talking to one Giants fan. He's kind of sick of the Nubin, the experiment. I think Downs could be in play, man. I mean, 5 would technically speaking, would be a reach for a safety, but I don't know, man. Like, what do you like? I don't know. He does check a lot of boxes. It does feel realistic. He does feel like a Harbaugh guy.
He does. That's like Harbaugh has that type. He's that type, dude. That's that leader, that impact guy, that culture guy. Everything about him reeks like, I don't know. It just seems. But again, and I think Afra made a really good point too. It's like you don't know what Malik Neighbors is going to be coming off his injury. Maybe you have Tate as like kind of like your very high end insurance policy in case something's wrong with Neighbors. He doesn't come back too fast. You got to replace Robinson. So I can understand Tate as well. I'm a Downs guy as well. I'm with Katie.
Downs.
I think when we talked about before the Jets got Fitzpatrick, I was talking to you about taking Downs at 2. I'm like, I like this kid. And then all this injury stuff came out. So, yeah, it's true. I think he just reeks like Harbaugh kind of player to me. He really does.
Yeah. So real quick on the injury stuff, from what I've heard, it was one report saying that Downs could have a knee thing.
Yeah.
But so I talked to 2 people about it. They basically said that from their intel, talking to scouts, that they didn't get that same feedback. Like they personally felt fine with Caleb Downs. They didn't hear that from their own team side. So I don't know. This is kind of smoke screen season, but I do feel like even though it's pick 5, you kind of feel like John Harbaugh wants to get a tone setter. Yep. He's going to come in, help just do wear so many hats to that defense. I do think it makes a lot of sense, man.
Was it the same guy that gave Max Crosby the physical?
Yeah. Could have been, man. It could have been. All right, Caleb Downs here at 5.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay, so Cleveland, man, super interesting. It kind of felt like it was Carnell Tate all the way up until where's he at?
You passed him already.
Did I?
Yep.
Up until the combine, where Monroe Freeling put out outstanding numbers, the height, the length.
Yeah.
His ability to get better, or really the production from this past season getting better as the season went on. The feeling right now with Freeling is that right now he's probably the best left tackle ceiling in the entire class.
Yeah.
And overall, even better than like Matt Winoa, right? Just at the purely at tackle. But if you start talking about, okay, who is the best, or who could maybe challenge Freeling as the best left tackle in the class, there's really not many that come close. at this point in time, right? As far as, again, ceiling is concerned. I mean, just to quickly go through it again, Mauano is going to be playing on the right side. Spencer Fano was taking snaps at center at the combine.
Yep.
He's already projecting more so to the guard position as it is. So I don't really view Spencer Fano as a starting left tackle at the next level. Blake Miller, 3-year starter, I believe he's a 4-year starter at Clemson. But tons, 3-year starter, tons of experience there. You kind of feel really, really good at him plugging in at right tackle, kind of being like a plug and play guy. I like his upside as a pass protector. Caden Proctor feels like a massive reach here at spot number 6. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, you can't do that.
There's people that kind of view Proctor as a starting guard too. But so,
see,
again, if you need a left tackle, and by the way, every move that Cleveland has made on the offensive line, in my opinion, has been good, right? Trading for Howard, adding some solid, legitimate, plug and play guards, adding Jenkins from Green Bay. I'm assuming that the health checks out there. Bringing back Tevin Jenkins, like I think Cleveland, they could, like, left tackle is the only one that you're kind of looking at saying, like, okay, are we really going to roll out DeJuan Jones?
The thing is, too, it's like you figure Monk and like the AFC North's going to want to run the football. And it's kind of similar to the Arizona Cardinals, man. It's like solidify your offensive line to protect your young quarterback, whether it's Shador. Deshaun Watson's terrible, but they're going to be the same thing. Like, I won't predict what I think is going to happen, but the Browns have another pick late in the first round. They can go quarterback there as well. So, but to me, it's like solidify your offensive line, take away any questions. It always starts in the trenches. And I like Tate, but I just think this is more what they need right now. First year, the new coach. You know what I mean? So it's like you have the ability to kind of like, all right, let's solidify the trenches first and get the playmaker after that. I think that's where they're at, me personally.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, man. I look at the Browns wide receiver. I mean, you know what? They have another first-round pick.
But that's the thing. So it's like this is where it gets weird because it's a very deep wide receiver class, but there could be a run on wide receivers. To me, if you get your tackle here and you get your receiver in the second pick in the first round, it's still going to be really good. You got really good value, man. You walk away with you upgraded your offense here. If you reversed it and went receiver here, then there's a run of tackles. I don't think you're getting the same kind of value, man.
Yeah, and again, right, who is that guy that's going to be coming in as your starting left tackle? I mean, maybe Lomu, but
no, go with the best guy, and then you can just have faith in and even at 27, they can also trade up too, man. If there's a wide receiver falling to them, they can get aggressive and move up. I'd rather get the tackle.
Fair enough. Freeling at 6.
Let's do it.
So if you're a Washington Commander fan and this is playing out like this, you got to be absolutely thrilled. I mean, Styles, Bain, Bailey, little bit interesting, right? Because they paid $100 million. They also brought in Caleb on Chase on. I don't think that eliminates David Bailey. Like, oh, he's useless now. I don't think Washington is thinking that. But you can also go with Cardinal Tate, right? Mm-hmm. Washington hasn't really done much at wide receiver. I know, like rumblings and stuff, like they're linked to Brandon Ayuk, but Ayuk is still a member of the 49ers. So, I mean, dude, if you're Washington here, gosh, it's so tough, man. It's so I think Styles would probably be my number 1 here if I'm Washington.
I think so too.
Tate would maybe be 2, Bain 3, Bailey 4 would be my, I guess if I was a Washington fan, kind of how I like my frame of looking at it. Because, dude, the thing is with Washington, they don't have a lot of picks. They traded a lot of their picks and they spent a ton of money. So you need instant impact. This defense was horrible last season. I don't know, man. Or do you go with Bain, right? Who can kick, play on the outside, play on the inside, versatile, powerful.
I'm almost, man, this is tough because I really like Styles a lot, but you could almost make a case for Bain over Styles. Like it's interesting, and then you could also make a case for Tate if you really wanted to say, give Jaden Daniels as many weapons as possible. Like you want to go that route too. Like I understand it. I almost think Bain, dude.
Bain.
But what do you think? If you had this was your spot, what would you think? Are you going definitely defense, or would you consider wide receiver?
So Is Bobby Wagner still? I believe Bobby Wagner is still a free agent. I know they brought in Leo Chenal. So he's going to be manning down one of those positions. Oh man, like I just can't see Sonny Styles like falling. Like I feel like Styles with Washington just makes a ton of sense. But
I could see that. I could definitely see it, dude. I love Styles, dude. Either one, it's like a, you know,
Fibs, Commanders, Tate, Lemon, Tyson, Styles, Bain, or Bailey. Crazy. They just have so many options.
Yep.
One of the edges. Yeah, Styles feels like a Dan Quinn guy. Versatile, can cover.
Yep.
You know, if you really want him to be a blitzer, like I still feel like he has the athleticism to do that.
Yep.
Bain feels right.
Yeah,
Defense for Washington. Washington could try to trade back. This is a really good point with Christopher. Again, they're at a deficit with draft picks.
Yeah, they sure are.
You look at a team like Miami, dude. They have 2 first-round picks. What is it? 2 firsts, 1 high 2. They're picking right in front of the Jets at 43, and then they have 3 third-round picks as well. I mean, dude, that's a lot of draft picks, man. So could Miami maybe want to trade up for one of these defensive guys?
They could.
You go defense if you were Washington.
I kind of think the same thing. All right.
I like Bain or Styles.
I think it's going to be defense as well. The more I think about it, especially because Wagner's not. I mean, Styles is just, man. That's like an instant impact. Again, culture guy, instant impact guy. That's just could be a cornerstone for your defense, man.
I just want to double check real quick because last time I checked, Bobby Wagner was still a free agent. Okay, yeah, he's still a free agent. Let's see. Okay, so he's linked to the Cowboys and the Rams, as well as the Commanders. So I mean, I don't know. What are you thinking, Styles or Bain?
Yep. I mean, man, this is tough. I'd say Styles.
Okay.
What do you think? I mean, I'm back and forth. I changed my mind twice already.
Yeah, like if you're Washington, I really don't think you could go wrong. Like if you look at their defensive line, Ruben Bain's better than Kinlaw. I think easily. They did pick they did pick Newton from Illinois a while back, top of round 2. You know, I don't really know how that experiment's going. Ruben Bain, he's the versatile player. He's scheme versatile. Styles does feel like a Dan Quinn guy. I mean, bottom line, if you're a Washington fan, like you got to be like absolutely loving this because it's you're deciding between 2 great players here, two great fits. But we could go Styles, man. We could go Styles.
I think Styles.
The thing that's a little worrisome with Bain, of course, is the arm length, right under 31 inches. Where Sonny Styles, right, from an athletic pro, like if you're splitting hairs. Like if you're splitting hairs to the athletic profile, I guess you kind of have to give the knock to Styles, or you have to give the the edge to Styles. I mean,
put it in the books.
Did the Eagles just make a trade?
Did they?
No, they didn't. I just saw a Rappaport tweet. Okay, so Sonny Styles pick.
Hold on, but we had go back to that super chat that talked to. We want to make a trade there before we make that pick. It's
let me see.
He said, would the Jets trade up 16, 44, and 103? I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that feels a little rich for me right now. Now we do have extra picks in next year's class too. We have extra picks this year. So I'm okay if you want to get a little creative and move around a little bit. So and I guess still in this scenario, we would still have pick 33 and we would still own a 4th rounder. I would consider it. It does feel maybe a little bit rich, but
yeah, I wouldn't do it.
I guess the question is, who are you coming up for?
David Bailey. Get Bailey and Reese.
That'd be insane. That'd be crazy. No, I think at that point you maybe want to come up for Styles and then trade Sherwood.
Yeah.
Or Cardinals Tate.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's a really interesting one, man. But I appreciate the super chat, dude. Sorry, Billy. Yeah, I'm scrolling down here. I wish I could put it all on the screen. It kind of just goes down with it. But yeah, Mendoza 1, Reese 2, Mount Noah 3, Love 4, Caleb Downs 5, Monroe Freeling at 6, Washington, spot number 7, going with Sonny Sal's. So pick number 8, I think this is easily Ruben Bain. Or Ruben Bain or David Bailey, I guess.
You can take Bailey here, dude. I mean, like, it's just you make a really good argument for Bailey here, and that's what a tremendous value that is there too. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think David Bailey would be an awesome fit for Staley's defense too. You know, I don't know if Cam Jordan's going to be back with New Orleans, but Bain you feel like can plug into that Cam Jordan role effortlessly. This one's tough, man. This one's actually really tough. I saw Mickey Loomis talking to Mansour Delane today, privately. But New Orleans needs a wide receiver, man. Tate, they could go Lemon. But I think if you're New Orleans, they got to continue to build out the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they're going to have a decent second-round pick as well. Again, wide receiver deep class. There's no if you have 2 of the top 3 edge rushers here on the board, I don't think I would take a wide receiver at this point.
No.
So it's between Bailey or Bain.
Man.
You want outside electricity, or do you want just raw power? One thing that's actually really been impressive with Bain, I was watching his pro day workout. His ankle flexibility, the way he bends and can turn the corner, was crazy in the offseason workout, or the pre-draft workout so far. So I don't know, man. This is tough.
Yeah, I'm personally leaning towards Bailey here, and I guess I saw the one thing in the chat. They said wouldn't be surprised if Bain slips to the teens. It could happen, man, because it's like, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Bailey definitely here. Yep. Bailey would be taken over Bain by most teams. Yeah. I think Bain would, fits the Saints defense more. Bailey's one-dimensional. This is why this draft is so cool, right? Because there's so many, conflicting arguments. You can make so many, so many points for all these different players.
I'll let you pick this one.
So, I got to say, I don't know how teams are really valuing the whole arm length thing. I saw Bucky Brooks put out his mock draft today. He is Bain outside the top 10.
Yep.
How much stock are we going to put into that? I'm not sure.
I think sometimes as fans, we start overvaluing players a lot more than NFL teams do. I think Bain's kind of that guy. We love the player, but then in NFL circles, all right, great college player impact, but he's an outlier with his arms. So it's are you willing to take that chance with a top 10 pick? Or as he falls more, you feel a little more comfortable with that. With Bailey, listen, we know exactly what he is, how he's going to contribute. We think this translates a certain way. So it's interesting, man. I mean, I'm letting you choose. You're the GM on this one.
Yeah, I guess if I'm New Orleans, I think I'd go Bailey here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just go get a proven. I mean, if you're a Saints fan, you're expecting this team to take a step. This is, by the way, dude, this mock draft is not how I expected it to go. But Chiefs here at spot number 9. I think this is Bain. I think Bain comes off the board right here. Perfect fit for Kansas City.
100%.
I think Steve Spagnuolo is going to love his versatility. Someone who just doesn't have to come off the field, can rush from the outside or the inside. Power,
relentless motor guy. He's Spagnuolo to a T right here.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue, okay, they need a corner, right? They need a safety. They need a wide receiver like Patrick Mahomes coming back from the lower body injury. You kind of feel like they don't have Mahomes hasn't had a guy where he could just, huck the ball up to, and he comes down with 50-50 balls. But I think Ruben Bain is just too good to pass up here at spot number 9.
Completely agree.
Boom. Pick number 10, Cincinnati Bengals. So in most mock drafts, I usually have Caleb Downs coming off the board here.
Yep.
But by the way, this is kind of like nightmare situation for Cincy. If Bain, Bailey, Styles, Downs, and Reese are gone. So I personally, if it was my call here, I think I'm going Delane or Jermon McCoy.
I think Delane. You wouldn't go. No, I think that's really, I would go there, I would think.
Dude, if they double down at running backs, if Love gets if Love falls that far, man.
Yeah, they're not going to Love after friggin' giving all that money to Kenneth Walker. There's no way.
How is Carnell Tate still out there? Yeah,
Well,
dude,
see,
this mock draft is not how I expected it to
but
be.
see, this is my question for you. If you're the Jets now, sitting there at 16, and you have Carnell Tate sitting there at 10, is he a guy you say, you know what? I'm willing to move up to pick number 10 to get Carnell Tate. Is that a guy you would do that for? You'd be like, you know what? The way it's playing out, a lot of wide receivers are still on the board. All your top 3 receivers are still there. You feel more comfortable one of those guys falling to you at 16.
Well, I think the real question is how much would it cost to go up and get him?
Yep.
You know, because if it's going to take whatever, pick 44 and 16, 44 and something else to go grab Tate, or do you just say, hey, let's not trade anything. Let's keep our assets and let's cross our fingers and hope that one of them goes. Or if 2 come off the board, then we move up.
Because in my world right now, with the Bengals, they're not going wide receiver. So you're like, all right, we know they're not taking a wide receiver.
I don't think they're going to go offense at all.
So if you're the Jets, okay, we know they're not going wide receiver, but Miami, you can make a really good case right here. Miami at 11 could be like, we'll take Tate at 11. No big deal here. We're like, they need all kinds of wide receiver help. So that's where the Jets want to make a move. Would this be the spot to make it to go up to 10? Or is he a player worthy of that? You're like, you know what? We can wait and maybe get Lemon at 16 or Cooper or somebody else. Like, in your eyes, how much is the drop off from Tate to those guys? Is it worth moving up for?
Well, I think he's kind of a different type of wide receiver. Like I'm excited to see Adonai Mitchell as like that X wide receiver, and Carnell Tate. If he's on the board, I'm taking him. That's the bottom line for me. But I don't know if I'm in a position where I want to just start trading a bunch of picks to go up and land Tate.
Okay.
It's tough, man. It's tough because, again, I think the real question is how much does it cost? Like, if they just want 44, I mean, like, let me ask you, would you rather keep 16, keep 33, and trade 44 to Jacksonville for Brian Thomas? Or would you say, here's 16, 44, and a 4th to move up to 10?
Well, look, I saw Cade, dude. It said pick 10 would cost 16 and 44. So if that's the case, you're moving up to 10, you're getting... this has to be your best wide receiver in the draft, Carnell Tate at this point, right? This is the guy, like, you know what? This is the best wide receiver in the draft. This is the best fit for us in our offense. If you feel that way, I mean, do you feel that way?
Well, let me counter K, dude. And that's a good point. I don't know if you're using like the point value system here, but chances are if Carnell Tate is here and Cincinnati's fielding calls, they're not just going to be talking to the Jets and that's it. Because there's a lot of teams that need help at wide receiver. I do feel like the Jets are probably the closest within striking distance. So if 16 and 44 is just the pure market value, you're probably going to have to go at least a little bit higher than that, would be my guess.
There's the next super chat's really good. That's kind of what I'm thinking, where it says, is 44 worth the difference between Tate and Cooper or Lemon? And that's exactly where I'm at, where it's like, all right, how do you rank your wide receivers and what's their value to your offense? And if you don't do this, who's going to still be there at 16? Because there could be a little run here where you're like, all right, you don't want to get up to 44 now, but when you get to 16, 3 of your guys are gone, and then you're screwed. So,
I mean, I guess we could just plug it in the sim. I wasn't planning on doing.
I'm just curious. I'm just trying to go through it as the draft's playing out. Because if I was watching the draft and it was going down like this, I'd be in the conversation like, all right, wonder what it costs to get this kid. And if it's outlandish, okay, we'll let it play out. But it's worth exploring.
Okay, you want to just try to run the?
We don't have to. I'm just saying it's an interesting conversation to have, though.
Yeah. Let's see. Gosh, why does this? $410. I mean, we could offer it and just see. I mean,
they're gonna be like, nope.
Yeah, trade not accepted.
We're out then.
And they have a limit on how many attempts that you can do too.
Well, that's rude.
I mean, so what do you want? You want to add in another pick? 103, 104?
No.
No? Okay. So at 10, who are you thinking then? I guess it'd be Delane or McCoy, but probably Delane.
Yep.
Okay. Miami Dolphins at spot number 11.
Tate.
Let me just try to push back on that real quick.
Okay.
If I'm a Miami fan, I think I would go Tate here, but they hired John Eric Sullivan to be their general manager, right?
Mhm.
Halfley's their new head coach. Both guys are coming in from Green Bay. That team is known for building their the organization's built from the inside out. O-line, D-line.
Yep.
Currently, the Dolphins have problems in both areas, right? The Packers are also known for never taking wide receivers in the first round.
It's true.
Is there a world where Miami says, hey, you know what? We go after the best offensive lineman here, and then we come back with our other first-round pick at 30 and go with a wide receiver?
That's a really good point. You know what? I forgot all about that. That's exactly the mindset in Green Bay too. They never go. That's a really good point.
They never make that. I mean, they did with Matt Golden, but that was like the exception.
Yep. That's a really good point.
I mean, Green Bay would take trench players even though they didn't even need them.
Yeah, and you're getting yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. I completely forgot all about that. I wasn't even thinking about that. And again, they have what's their next pick? Their next pick is what?
30.
Oh yeah, I
could see that with Denver.
100% could see that.
Man, because dude, wide receiver was a need though with Jalen Waddle on the roster. So if you trade Jalen Waddle and you don't go with a wide receiver early, and you have the Tate is on the board, I think you just I think you go get Malik Willis a weapon and just say screw it. We're gonna just let the chips fall where they may with 30.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. That's why I was like Tate, because you like Malik Willis right now is probably like I signed this contract, but I'm like I have nobody to work with as a running back. So it's
yeah, but they don't really have a. I mean, they really need help at guard too.
You're getting the best guard in the class.
Yeah, I mean they could go with Vega or Fano if they view him. So Bobby Sloak's the offensive coordinator, so they're going to want, they're going to value pass protection. They're going to value, someone who can move.
Every analyst that I've been reading about, they're all saying the same thing. It's a very strong interior offensive lineman class. It's very deep at guard. Are you getting almost too?
Yeah, I don't really think so. I really don't think so. For me personally, I mean, Vega's a beast, Pregnon's a beast, Besantis. I don't think he's a first rounder. I've seen some mocks of them going round one. Rutledge, but he's like a mid-round guy.
But my question is this: just say you go Tate here, can they get a guard in late first round?
Yes, I do think so.
But with a good value.
I don't think it's going to be as good as Vega.
Not as good as Vega. But what's the drop off from like Vega to the next guard they get, as opposed to getting what you consider the best wide receiver in the draft? That's how I look at it. I'll put it this way. What's the drop off if you don't go Tate here? What are you getting at 30 as opposed to drop off at guard? If you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to get what's your best combination platter of getting picks? It may be Tate here and getting the guard with the second pick.
Right. So like if you're a Dolphins fan, would you rather go Vega and Denzel Boston?
Yep. Or
Tate, Cardinal Tate and Pregnon.
Right. I'd probably go that route.
You'd go Tate here at 11.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we can. I mean, it's.
But yeah, MK, I appreciate you. Yeah, Ione is so good. Yeah, I saw one comparison the other day, or not comparison, but I saw one headline the other day basically saying that he's right underneath Quentin Nelson as a guard prospect. Not on Nelson's level, but in that tier right underneath. He's so damn good. Yeah, Miami drafting Vega. Like it feels like so Green Bay Packer type of type of a move.
We have a Dolphin fan in the chat that wants him. As a Dolphin fan, give me Vega. Let's give him Vega.
Really? Okay.
That's what he says. Sam Hart, you got your guy.
Michael, who do you prefer over the other at 103? Oh, okay. Which quarterback? Carson Beck for the floor and the experience, or Drew Aller for the massive upside? Sorry. I know we're not at that pick. Yeah, we're only going to go through 1 through 16. Because if we went through 100 picks, we'd be here till midnight. But I feel like the Jets probably like Beck more than they do Aller. With the connection to Spielman, I think you can take a look. You can connect all the dots with the Bill Parcells drafting. I posted a video today about Carson Beck. Um, yeah, I mean, you make a good point. Aller definitely has the massive upside compared to Beck. Has the higher floor. I don't think the upside is nearly as close. Um, if the Jets, I think they prefer Beck over Aller. Who do you think?
I'm not a Beck fan, dude.
I know, and I've been needling you about really since the first week since Miami beat
this is where
Notre Dame.
this pick is where my start opening beers up and stuff like that. I got to embrace Carson Beck. I'll be drinking the rest of the day.
No, it's a good question, man. I think that they would probably value Beck a little bit more because one thing with the Jets is they haven't had a steady hand at quarterback in years, right? Like Zach, boom or bust. Sam Darnold didn't work out. Zach Wilson, boom or bust. There's a lot of like low floors here. I don't know. It kind of feels like the Jets, after witnessing all these different, quote unquote failures, I just
they didn't
feel
witness
like
it. They weren't here for it. Darren Muji wasn't here for any of that. They don't care. They shouldn't care about Darnold or anybody else that's here. Go with the guy that has the most upside. Go with the guy that you believe Frank Reich can develop and make into something. Like, to me, it's like, I don't care about the floor. I want the ceiling. Like this, it's a developmental guy that pretty much next year we're going to draft the quarterback anyway. So this kid gets 1 year to show what he has and get groomed, and that's it. So I just can't embrace Carson Beck. I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're all upside, you go Aller.
Yeah.
And I quite frankly don't think that would be a bad selection. But if you prefer the floor, if you prefer like, okay, like this guy, you kind of feel good about maybe being the long-term backup, and he's not going to flame out after
higher
2
goals
years.
With our team. I'm not worried about getting long-term backups. Let's take a swing and get a freaking starter, right? You know what I mean? Like,
well, the point is with the high floor is if you draft Aller and he doesn't hit, he's off the team in 2 years.
So what? You take a big swing. I'd rather swing big and hit a home run than try to get a base hit every time or bunt.
Well, the Jets haven't had any base hits in.
They've been here a year. So. This staff's been here a year. You can't pin Hackenberg on Muji.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not looking at. I'm not blaming Glenn and Muji for those picks, but I think if you're trying to right the big ship, as Glenn mentions, like you gotta, I don't know, do things maybe.
You're not writing a ship with a project quarterback, dude. You're writing it with Geno Smith and whoever your backup quarterback is. That's writing the ship. And these guys are just all developmental guys. Just hope I can't do it.
Okay, so back to Miami.
Vega.
You go Vega here? Okay.
Well, Sam Hort. Sam, the Dolphin fan asked for him. So we have to he asked for it, he gets it.
Okay. Fair enough. Sam, fair enough, man. Fair enough. We will give the Miami Dolphins Vega. It does feel like a seamless fit, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
You cannot sign Malik Willis to a $67.5 million contract over 3 years. This is not some sort of 1 year thing, and leave him out to dry and have holes on the offense. Continue to have holes on the offensive line. So it does make sense, and you could come back at 30, maybe target another wide receiver there. KC, 100%. Denzel Boston. So Dallas at 12.
McCoy.
You go McCoy here.
Well, they need a corner, don't they?
They do. Yep, they do need a corner. They need a linebacker. CJ Allen feels a bit too high here at 12. I think maybe at 20. Folk, Mesidor, still a little bit too high. What about Thieneman?
That's the one I was thinking about. I forgot he was there.
If it was me, I'm going McCoy.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go McCoy too. He's just climbing the charts with everybody right now.
Yeah, the combine, the 40. But I just can't get over taking the second best safety at pick 12.
Yeah.
Like if you have, because I really believe that Jermon McCoy, if you look at his tape from 2024, it is top 5. Or it would be top 5 if it just happened in 2020, like if it happened this year. Yeah. But of course, he was hurt. He missed the whole year from the ACL. I do think he's healthy and 100% good to go. His pro day is coming up. The Tennessee pro day is end of March, where I think his stock will kind of lock in. But dude, if I'm a Cowboy fan, McCoy's the player who I want.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
So pick number 13, LA Rams. Ty Simpson still on the board. Carnell Tate still on the freaking board. How is Carnell Tate still on the board here?
That's just crazy. It just falls right to the Rams. And the Rams have been rumored to they wanted AJ Brown. They've been kind of shopping around the wide receiver market, so which makes it interesting right off the bat with Devontae Adams.
Some Devontae Adams stuff like potentially. The Eagles have just signed Elijah Moore. Breaking news.
Oh, that's another guy, and they're gonna sell out. I'm not gonna say it. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, Tate to the Rams. I mean, damn, dude. Like how? Again, this mock draft is not how I expected it to go, but Carnell Tate to LA Rams, some freaking how at 13. Super Bowl contenders here. Pick 14. So I think the Ravens can go in a couple different directions. Mekhi Lemon definitely should be in play. Mm-hmm. Jordan Tyson, I think, should be in play. But Spencer Fano, I also think I think he does make a lot of sense for Baltimore, right? Because they have some major problems on the interior of that offensive line. Yep. Lamar Jackson hit a ton. There's extension talks happening there. Again, wide receiver deep class. It's not really a deep class, in my opinion, at offensive line. If Fano can give you guard or center play, and the Ravens can just kind of roll him out there in training camp and kind of see, which path he's progressing at better. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like he could very well be the fit there. Baltimore needs help. I mean, they brought back John Simpson, 3 years, $30 million. Mm-hmm. But they still need another guard and they still need a center. So I don't know. Where do you stand with it? Like,
it makes the most sense, man.
But if you put your if you're a Ravens fan, you're like, dude, Lemon's here and Tyson's here. Like you can argue.
They're built to run the football, man. They're built to, I don't know.
Yeah, I personally think Fano here.
I think so too.
Sadiq, that's another interesting one.
Don't do that to me. God,
that's another one, dude.
No.
Yeah, with Tate going to the Rams.
Yep.
You take the offensive lineman over the wide receiver. They did lose Isaiah Likely. Yeah, he's going to John Harbaugh's Giants. Lemon and Zay Flowers. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was doing a mock draft the other day, and I was like, just by myself, and I was thinking, I'm like, dude, Lemon and Zay Flowers, like, I want a bigger target there.
Yeah.
Tyson, I feel like would be an awesome fit. Sadiq or Lemon. Sadiq. All right. Hey, you know what? This is a collaborative mock. We'll go with Sadiq here. I personally, I do think Fano is probably it would probably be my number one choice.
We'll go Sadiq there. That's fine.
But Sadiq is the clear-cut best tight end of this class.
My guy. Oh, so close.
All right, cool. We're going Sadiq. Sadiq and also too, didn't they lose Charlie Kohler? Let me just double check. I believe he signed with the Chargers.
That pick right there just broke my Chargers. That pick just broke my heart.
All right, so Bucks 15. I'm gonna mute my mic real quick. I gotta blow my nose.
Okay.
Tampa Bay's punching air.
I mean, do they need? What do they need? Do they need an edge? There's still.
Bucks. I mean, Sadiq would have been an awesome pick for Tampa. They could use a guard. One player that I always see mocked to Tampa is CJ Allen.
I've seen that too.
He's a little too. CJ Allen's a high floor player, good player. I just don't think he's. I just don't view him as a top 15 pick.
But when they need what's the best available edge left right now? There's got to be.
I don't really know if 15 is a good spot for edge.
Mesidor?
I mean, they could go win now with Mesidor, but that just feels a bit too high. Keldrick Falk, I like, and I've kind of heard that the NFL teams are higher on Keldrick Falk than media
Yep.
is, like, looking past just the statistics this past season, like understanding how he was played and what he was asked to do for um Auburn's defense, DJ Durkin's defense. Like there were like his statistics definitely don't reflect him as a player, because like you see his stats and they're not great. He took a step backwards in sacks, 9 sacks in 24 to 2 this past season.
Yep.
Not really all that great. But the thing that you do get with Keldrick Falk is versatility. Like very high floor against the run, upside as a pass rusher. Can play as a 4-3 D end, can play as, a defensive end in a 3-4. You can really move him up and down the line. Like his size is so crazy too. Let's see if they have it listed here. 6'6", 285. I know he weighed in recently. I think it was actually today or yesterday. I think it was 273. So he can put on weight. He can drop weight as well. Keldrick Falk is just someone who you can move up and down the line. I think Carolina. I know Detroit is really high on Keldrick Falk, but I think Carolina would be an awesome, or even Dallas too. But Carolina feels like a good fit for Falk. But going back to Tampa, I mean, they did lose Mike Evans. Could they? You think wide receiver could be in play?
So Jordan,
I think it would just go Fano, to be honest. Plug him at guard,
which would be a huge need for them. That could be.
Although they did lose Levante David today.
Yep. I don't think they wouldn't go Lemon here.
Yeah, Mesidor. I think everyone's sleeping on Cassius Howell. Dude, Howell's a lightning rod, man, but I know the arm length is pretty concerning.
You like Falk over Mesidor?
I prefer Falk over. I think Mesidor is instant impact, and Falk is like maybe a bit more of a project. But when I look at Keldrick Falk, like I really look at someone who could be there for the next like 8 seasons, and someone who can he's going to give you a high floor against the run, good size, D tackle or D end, 3-4 or 4-3.
Yeah,
very trusted in Auburn's SEC defense. I like his upside a lot. Whereas Mesidor, after 4 years, he's going to be, I guess if he's a first round pick, he's on a 5-year deal, 5th-year option picked up. He's going to be 30 years old. But, if Mesidor is the better player,
I don't think
even cares.
Yeah, I don't think you worry about 5 years from now. You worry about winning. You're a playoff team now. Like you should be a playoff team now. I think I worry if you're a Buccaneers, you're worried more about win now, instant impact players now instead of developmental guys, right?
This is a really good point. Todd Bowles is in a potential final year. No reason they can't draft an older player like Mesidor to help save his career. Okay, you want to go Mesidor here?
Especially they're literally a win now team, man. With Baker Mayfield, they lost Mike Evans, but they're locked and loaded. They should be at least. Yeah, his season is very hot.
Damn. All right. We'll go Mesidor here, leaving the New York Jets with a freaking ton of great players, great options. Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson.
Oof.
Basically every, take your pick on all these other wide receivers. Omar Cooper, Boston, KC.
Man.
From this point, man, Thieneman's still on the board, right? If you want to get creative and use Thieneman and Minka Fitzpatrick.
No. Me personally, I'm gonna disrespectfully cut you off and say, this point right here, the Jets need playmakers on offense. You need wide receiver help. You're one Garrett Wilson injury away from being in deep trouble. Give me playmakers for my young quarterback moving forward. Now he's like, I'm not doing safety. I know you're gonna try to sell me on that. I'm not doing it. I want a wide receiver here. Now,
well, there is someone that's still on the board.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Who? Don't do it. What are you doing?
Take a guess. Take a guess on who I'm about to say.
Who's
just a guess. Who?
I'm not guessing. I don't know. Who is it?
Ty Simpson.
No, I have a vision for Ty Simpson. I think for me personally, now that we're at the spot, I think Ty Simpson's going 27 to the Browns. That's where I think he's going.
I think they're picking 24th.
24th.
Yeah,
That's where I think
24th.
Ty Simpson's going. 24 to the Browns.
Okay. Yeah,
I
fair
don't
enough.
like. And listen, the hype around Ty Simpson now is just building. It's very predictable. Now he's a step closer to Fernando Mendoza. I know all of that. I respect it. Not taking him at 16. We got the help on defense. Now we go on offense. You get your yeah. You go and get your playmaker, man. I'm all about getting a wide receiver. If you want to trade from 33 late first round and maybe compete with the Browns, Ty Simpson, if you want to go that route, but I'm not. I'm going wide receiver here, man.
Okay, so we can. Okay, yeah, my boy McCoy's off the board. So out of the wide receivers, who are you leaning?
Well, I mean, listen, everybody can argue about Jordan Tyson, and I completely understand it. Dude's not even healthy now. We talked about this last night. I joke about it with you all the time. Like, listen, you love the talent. The injury history has to be a concern. He's not healthy now. Then you add in the MetLife turf. I'm like, the combination of injury history and MetLife turf is like, you can just predict what's going to happen. Like, this is my cynical, negative Jet mind. But I like Lemon. You could sell me on Cooper if you want. I like Lemon though.
Okay, yeah, we'll go Lemon here.
But what do you like? Give me your wide receiver evaluation here.
I think Tyson. If Tyson's healthy, I think Tyson's better than Lemon. But the problem is he can't stay healthy. You go back a couple of seasons, he tore his ACL, PCL, and MCL. Missed the whole next season because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back, broke his collarbone, missed a handful of games there, couldn't finish the season. Then comes back this final season, has the hamstring problem, misses multiple games there, kept him out of the combine. I read today that he's still not going to be doing all the drills at his individual workout. So, you can definitely make an argument. I mean, MetLife turf aside, you can argue, okay, if he can't get through a college season, what about tacking on 5, 6 games with an NFL schedule with bigger hits, a bigger workload, as well as, you don't want to be in a position where Tyson, and this is a complete hypothetical, but you don't want to be in a position where even if Tyson makes it through and plays every single game or maybe misses one game throughout the regular season, he's banged up for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Can he even get through a playoff? When weather's cold and there's a lot of reps on the body. I don't think Tyson would be a bad pick, but I prefer Lemon because I feel like I know what I would be getting with Lemon.
And I kind of like, this is going to come off kind of negative, but to me, it's like, I don't think the Jets are in a position to take that chance at 16. Like, while you respect the talent that Tyson has, with all that risk associated with taking him, you literally know the concerns. It's not like you're getting blindsided by him. You know he's got injury concerns. I don't think the Jets are in a position right now to take that risk. So I'm not saying Lemon would never get hurt. We never know what could happen, obviously. But to me, it's like, I'd rather go with the more known of like, all right, let's get the healthy guy, get the impact. Like, it's just, that's kind of where I'm at right now with the Jets.
Okay, cool. So we'll go Lemon here. So if this is the 2 picks, right? Mm-hmm. Or these are the 2 picks, Arvell Reese and Mekhi Lemon. Mm-hmm. No trades. We still have 33 and 44. Who are you thinking, like, ideally, realistically, who are you eyeing for 33? Or at least what position?
Well, see, this is a good question from Michael here. He says, guys, you against going 2 wide receivers by 44? I don't mind that at all. Like, I'm desperate for wide receiver help. Like, I know some people want to be high on A.D. Mitchell, which is great. He showed a glimpse of things last year. I want to stack the wide receiver room. So I have no problem with that. If you want to add your safety, completely cool with that. Like, it's the Jets have plenty of holes to add, but to me, it's like safety, and wide receiver. I'm completely cool at this point.
Yeah, and Michael, dude, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Guard.
I don't think that I'm looking at really any pick for the Jets, and I'm going to be freaking out on draft night saying, what are you doing? Unless we go like bigger D tackle because of like Tavondre Sweat and, Phillips and all these guys that we already have. I like this comp. Omar Cooper reminds you of Jericho Cotchery with higher upside. Yeah. Skylar Bell from UConn. Super intriguing. I like Joe Fagnano, the quarterback from there as well. Kind of feels like a Frank Reich guy, but Chris Brazzell, love him at Tennessee. Just such an effortless mover for his size. Might need a little bit of refinement, getting through the NFL training camp and whatnot, like with the route tree. But
the The other thing too is here is now you're at 16, you have 33, and we talked about Ty Simpson still on the board. Do you say, okay, now the trading up from 33 to 16 is not going to be like going in the first, like early first round? The compensation is not going to be as crazy. Is this where you get in the area? Because look at the next couple picks. To me, it's like if you go, well, I guess you could probably say the Steelers could probably take them, right? Steelers can maybe go. Like we're like what a landing point for Ty Simpson before the Browns. Maybe the Steelers.
Yeah, I
Maybe
would say Pittsburgh.
that's it. Not the Eagles.
Cleveland 24.
So if you get if you go back up for
Miami at 30.
Ty Simpson.
Oh my gosh, sorry. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking.
That's what I'm saying. So if you look at the
I
way
was
the
thinking
board's playing out,
Arizona in my mind.
so if you look at the way the board's playing out, if you go up to a little bit, where's Pittsburgh at again? Like
21.
If the Steelers don't take him at 21, you know the Chargers aren't taking him, the Eagles aren't taking him. He's literally dropping, dude. Do you consider at that point trading up from 33 to 23 to get Ty Simpson? Like, is he that? Like, where in your eyes be good value for him? You're like, I'm not trading up at all. Because then he's literally falling. He's literally falling down the draft board now.
Well, I mean, I kind of think that this is the range for Ty Simpson anyway. Kind of like this, right. It's like the Jackson Dart range, like the 20-ish, maybe mid 20s. I feel, man, like it's gonna be so your prediction was Cleveland at 24 for Ty.
Yep.
I feel like Arizona's gonna come back up. I just don't know how you can roll into next season with Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew coming off a torn ACL. And
we're rolling into a season with Geno Smith and a player to be named later.
Geno can play. Jacoby
Brissett can play too. I want him this year.
I mean, what?
I'm just saying, would it be on your board? Like, would you be willing to go up to 23 to get him, or you're like, no, I'm just going to wait and let the board play out?
I think at this point, I would rather just wait.
Okay.
And just have the board play out. I mean, for me, if these are our two picks, Ed Reese at 2 and then Lemon at 16, I think I would go with a corner at 33. Would probably be my preference.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of corners that I feel like make sense. And Colton Hood and Terrell. Yeah. Cisse fits the system. I heard he could slip a little bit. Chris Johnson, very interesting. Pons, interesting right inside. How if Aaron Glenn really is, if Glenn really wants inside to outside flexibility, I think guys like Terrell and Pons are definitely more in play.
Yep.
But Colton Hood can really, I mean, I think if Colton Hood was on the team right now, he'd be our corner one. If we can get him at 30, like this is my number one option at 33. If we go wide receiver at 16, if we go a different position at 16, then I demand that we go wide receiver at 33 here.
I'll be riding.
But I think that's going to do it for us, guys.
This was fun, man. But it's interesting, like how these, you have so many really tough decisions to make. Like earlier on, it was like Bain or Bailey. Like the decisions are wild, and you're just like, you're trying to find the perfect fit for that organization and their coach. It's really, really interesting, man.
Yeah, I think this draft is going to be so much fun. I'm going to be live streaming during it. If you want to, hop on in, dude, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm expecting craziness. I think I don't know how much trade action we're going to be seeing, but even if we don't get any trades at all, like let's just say we don't have any trades in the top 15, I still feel like it's very tough to pinpoint exactly how this draft is going to go.
Well, because there's not a lot of quarterbacks everybody covets, so that's where all the drama comes from. There is nobody, so it's like how much do you covet a Bailey or a Tate? I don't think people are going to make big splashes here. They're going to probably just go with the depth of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like last season, the 2 seasons prior were pretty predictable. Granted, right, we're still a month out. Mm-hmm. But go back to 2024, Caleb was going 1. Jaden Daniels was going 2. Drake May was going 3. Marvin was going 4th to Arizona. Mm-hmm. 5th, who was it? LA Chargers. And it was either between Neighbors or Joe Alt. So it was going to be one of those two guys. Yep. I forget who was at 6. I think it was the Giants. And everyone kind of pegged the Giants going with wide receiver. Everyone knew Chicago was going to be going with a weapon at the believe pick 9, Romo Dunze. And then with the Jets, it was between Olu or Bowers, and like the order kind of played itself out. And then last season it was Cam Ward 1. Everyone knew it. Pick 2 was who's pick 2 again? Oh, Travis Hunter trade up.
That's right.
Abdul Carter.
But
Mason Graham. Yeah. So
the other thing though is like just think about how we did this whole draft board right here. If you go back up to the Jets pick and they take David Bailey there, think about the trickle down of that. Everybody kind of changed, like our whole mindset changes because like, all right, now he's gone. Like now it's like, all right, now Reese is falling. Who wants him? Like everybody, the trickle down of the picks is pretty wild. How it makes a difference of who's actually taken before them. You know what I mean? It's just so fascinating.
I mean, if we could trade down, man, and add like, ideally, I would like to trade down and add a pick in next year's class. But I think in a I'm totally fine sticking at 2. I'm not like demanding we trade back, but if say we're at 16 and someone is like pounding on the table, like, oh, we want to come up for whatever, Ty Simpson, because I know pre-draft there's always like mock drafts with trades that come up for quarterbacks, but when we get to draft day, you always see like random trades. Like even when the Jets traded up for Jermaine Johnson, we traded up for AVT as well. Kind of weird things that you just don't really see happening play out on draft night. So if we can maybe go from like 16 down to, I mean, who would want to come up? Cleveland. Let's just say, Cleveland, and you jump all the way down to 24 and we pick up, a solid haul back in return. I would do that.
Yeah, but you walk a fine line of getting too cute. And now you're taking yourself at a position where you can get a good impact maker at wide receiver to, if there's a little run there and Sadiq is gone, now you're like, all right, now I'm getting my 4th or 5th best receiver here because I want to get, compensation for next year. Like it's a fine line of doing that. Like it's great to have the assets, but I also want playmakers too. And I don't want to sell my soul for like next year. I want to have guys this year that can play that are like the top of their class.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's a good point.
Not taking away my receiver. You're trying to take away my receiver. I know you are. You don't want me to have a receiver on this team.
Dude, I'm at the point where 16 or 33 must be a wide receiver. Like if we don't go with a wide receiver at 16 or 33,
I'm out.
I will question. I'm not saying reach on a guy if you don't love him, but
especially after the way they handled free agency, which they did nothing. So it's like I would be like, what are we doing now at this point? Do we have any kind of premium on offense? I would be out of my mind.
Well, I think at that point, right? If I think you'd basically be you're forced in it going wide receiver at 44 at that point, or trading it for a player, or signing Juwan Jennings, who's still out there.
Well, then you're talking about Brian Thomas Jr. Then you're just like, all right, 44, let's make the trade. They want a 2nd round pick, we give them one, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, Isaiah Williams is our wide receiver 3.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, even last season we didn't have any wide receivers, but at least we had bodies that could like take reps. With Lazard, Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, these guys aren't even going to be there this upcoming season. So
we need more than just bodies. We need actually guys that can catch the ball and run routes.
Well, I'm saying we need to check that box first. We actually need to get players that can line up at the position, and then on top of that, need more.
We have guys that are breathing. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad they're breathing now.
So next week we're going to be over on Tyson channel officially. I think at that point will we officially be in April? I'm not sure.
I think so, because the 30th is what, Sunday? Today's the 24th, so yeah.
Either way, the draft is quickly approaching. Dude, I love KC a lot. He's had some really bad drops, but his explosion I think is going to translate really, really well. Yards after catch. I'm really excited about Concepcion. But again, next week over on Tyson channel, Let's Talk Jets Radio. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.